Hare Krishna devotees, today's shloka number 14 from chapter 14. Yada sattve pravriddhetu.
Yada sattve pravriddhetu.
Pralayam yati deha bhrit.
Pralayam yati dehabhrata.
Tadotamavidam lokam.
Tadottamavidam lokan.
Amalan pratipadyate.
Amalan pratipadhyate.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yada, when, sattve,
Sattve,
the mode of goodness,
the mode of goodness.
pravriddhe,
Developed.
to, but, pralayam, dissolution, yati, goes, dehabhrit, the embodied, tada, at that time, uttamavidam, of the great sages, lokan, the planets, amalan, pure, pratipadyate, attains. Translation: when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains to the pure, higher planets of the great sages. So, in this, we begin a new section from shlokas 14 to 18, the effect of the conditioning by the modes. First, we're going to talk about the long-term effects in this shloka, and the shloka we'll do tomorrow, which is, after death, where will you go? Under the influence of the three modes. Then in shloka 16, we look at the medium-term effect. In shloka 17, the immediate effect. And then shloka 18, the direction of post-death journey. So essentially, the modes impact you even beyond this life. It determines your destination. So that is how powerful the modes are. So Prabhupada writes here, one in goodness attains higher planetary systems like Brahmaloka or Janaloka, and there enjoys godly happiness. The word Amalan is significant. It means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. There are impurities in the material world, but the mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and great devotees live. So from the commentary by His Grace Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna describes the different kinds of death that people go through. So 6, 7 and 8, which is shloka 6, 7 and 8, Krishna talked about the different kinds of modes. Then in 11, 12 and 13, Krishna talks about within the competition between the three modes, how are people actually influenced differently. When one particular mode becomes predominant, this is the characteristic. Now Krishna will describe when a person is in such a characteristic and he dies, what happens? Why? Because they are in the battlefield and death is most probable there. So Krishna will talk about post-death destination. So in the previous section, we understood modes can be understood by the characteristics which they manifest when one mode predominates over other modes. Earlier, Krishna used the word prakash. So those who will live in knowledge in this world will gain further knowledge. So this refers to Svarga, this meaning in this particular shloka. Earlier, the Lord said, those who are under the influence of the mode of goodness are conditioned by knowledge and happiness. In this particular shloka, Krishna is using the word Svarga or higher lokas. This doesn't refer to liberation. So sometimes people misunderstand and think that Svarga means you have gone to back to the spiritual world. Svarga is also in the material universe only. So it's not liberation. You just go to higher planetary systems. So actual liberation, the Lord will talk about after he's done with describing these three modes. Svarga is comparatively in the mode of goodness with respect to Earth planet. Their acceptance of spiritual authority indicates their mode of goodness. Higher lokas are more in goodness as their enjoying mentality is even less. In goodness also there are levels. There are goodness which are much more towards passion. Then there is goodness which is much closer to transcendence, which means spirituality. And then there is intermediate goodness also. So even among us who are practicing devotees, although we may still be under the influence of all three modes at different points in time, predominantly we may be in that intermediate mode of goodness. Maybe in the beginning stages, we may be a mixture of good, under the influence of goodness and passion. And then that state of goodness that takes you much closer to the Shuddha Sattva state. So if people live in goodness, then they attain these Uttama Vidhan Lokan. So in the next shloka, Krishna will talk about the destination under the influence of Rajagun and Tamagun. But here, you go to the higher planetary systems where great sages live. But then, after you exhaust your pious credits, what happens? You have to come back and take birth again in the middle planetary system. So this cycle keeps going.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.